जब मैं बड़ी हो रही थी, मैं शायद अराउंड 3rd क्लास में 4th क्लास में थी, तो मेरी एक फ्रेंड थी आर्शिया. शी गॉट सम क्ले यूटेंसिल्स इन स्कूल एंड मुझे वो इतना अच्छा लगा क्योंकि मैंने पहली बार किसी को किचन सेट बनाते हुए देखा रादर देन खेलते हुए. एंड देन मैंने आज कि तुमने कैसे बनाया है, एंड इट वाज नॉट पॉलीमर क्ले, इट वाज नेचुरल क्ले. देन शी टोल्ड मी कि उसके डैड चिकनी मिट्टी लेकर आए थे and she really liked it and she started making her own toys basically, जो हम किचन सेट कहते थे, which all of us used to use plastic ones or wood ones. And I got really fascinated by the idea and I was like कि मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा. So मैंने उससे लेकर आई मैं घर पे अपने पेरेंट्स को दिखाने के लिए कि मुझे भी चिकनी मिट्टी चाहिए, आप मुझे लेकर आओ and then I will also make something and I will paint it and all. You spoke to me. Okay. Sorry, I didn't catch it. Yes. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Jisha. You might not remember so many questions. You didn't call me enough for me to recognize you. It's a good thing. Yeah.
So I remember I was at home. And when my friend told me that there is an opening of studio manager post, and she told me that Ganesh is basically the co-founder of Claystation, and she shared me his number and as well as Kanchana's number. Kanchana is Ganesh's wife and she also takes care of the Claystation training division.
I should sit here, next to my. Was it in Lalbagh?
No, it's Kabban Park. There was a Bangalore hubba happened, and Srishti School of Design. They had a stall, so they got a small tractor load of clay, and I asked people to play with it. So I was there with my daughter, and
With Kavya.
we made a lot of stuff. And we really enjoyed. And the organizers said you can leave it and pick it up later. So next day we went there. None of our pieces were there. They were all taken by somebody else. So we were complaining, and he said, "Hey, you should be proud that whatever you did was good enough." Huh? So they have taken it. So now you can always take some clay and do it yourself. Now you can do it better. So actually that was the beginning, I should say, when I touched clay for the first time. Later on, a month or so later, my apartment, they were organizing a carnival, asking us to put a stall. They encourage, during this carnival, I think it's a Diwali or
One of those, yeah.
New Year. So they asked us to put up a stall, and my daughter Kavya was very enthusiastic. She wanted to do this. We have done
By the
this
way, our
earlier.
daughter.
Okay, our daughter Kavya.
So all we did was we had a table, and the table had just the clay, gunny bag clay. We had just spread it out, and people didn't have chairs or anything. It was just they had to sit on the floor.
We folded the table and kept it.
Yeah,
on the
kept it.
floor.
We realized that again probably going back to the experience in Kabban Park where it was just on the floor.
Yeah.
Right, and we made them explore the medium. What we realized is people went out, pulled more people in. And first it started with parents telling kids, "Hey, can you just go play with it?" And then later on they realized that this is something interesting. So the parents started sitting together, and then the parents were there. The children went, got more people, and the parents were there.
So for that year, I was very doubtful that the parents would let their children play with it. In fact, what happened was, along with the children, almost all the parents got involved. So we had a tough time asking to close our stall, asking everybody to move out.
So actually the word of small.
That stall was called Claystation. And the name
Hey, I came up with the name.
Yeah, she came up with the name. So,
So the characteristics of clay, it is a very tactile material. So as soon as you are touching एक सिर्फ हाथ भी लगाते हो आप क्ले को, so the form of the clay changes. So it is not just about the form, about the pressure that your hands are putting onto the clay, है ना? So it's just like how we have a stress ball, हम उसको press करते हैं, but the form is not, it is changing, but it is coming back to its own form. But in clay, you can actually in a 3D form see what were you feeling. So how you touch clay and how I touch clay will be very different. Even if मैं thumb ही लगा रही हूँ, but your thumb and my thumb is very different. Whenever you're working with clay, when you're making something out of clay or molding it into different forms, it's very personal. It becomes very personal. And clay से अगर आप कुछ बनाते हो और then उसको तुम use करते हो, then it's a very different feeling because वो तुम्हारे emotions उसमें गए हैं. That thing is actually taking that emotion from you.
We had a bad experience with, not so good experience with locally sourced equipments.
So the artist segment was quite small at that point, and hence making the wheels or anything that the artist would need was they didn't have enough market. So, but we realized that it was needed. So we, I think Ganesh and the others in the team had reached out to these people who are best in the world to get, as he says, let's try to benchmark what is the best, so that people know what the experience could be in their process, and that's how they have gone about it.
So for a studio, I have visited few studios also. I visited the craft sectors. I have seen actually online that there's an artist there at a studio who is doing some production work, who is engaging or who is selling something, which is mostly a product, and that's the experience that the person is creating. So when I joined Claystation, it was not like one person or the ideology of one person being imposed on that studio. It was more like a collaborative approach, more like understanding everybody's perspective and also seeing that everybody is on the same page.
I think the way I look at it is, my understanding so far from, Ganesh put it in a way, and I think it's the same. It is to have as many people experience this medium. So that may be an artist or someone who's just not an artist but wants to play with this medium, right? Play with this medium in a slightly structured way. Let me put it that way. We are enablers in all ways for people to experience the medium. That's the way I look at it, and that's what we enjoy. If you look at it, that's where we enjoy doing it, and that's how I have understood Claystation to be, and all the others are, part of.
Yeah, second. We have come a long way, still long way ahead.
Yeah, and I think Ganesh has been enjoying this journey from day one, and he has made sure the people he surrounds with them enjoy the journey as well. It's the culture. I think we should. Biggest thanks to Ganesh for making sure the culture remains the same in this facility, and that's because that's how he is. And it took me a while to move my corporate thought process to the culture and that has been our biggest, and that has made us understand the possibilities. As he says, we have come a long way in the last 12 years, 13 years, and there is many more to go.
So that we get some space for the imagination. Parts are non-living things.
My bar.
We got these are what you call the triggers. There are various credit should go to various people who triggered this stuff. I have a big list actually. So
Let's just go through each one of them.
Many unknown people and